Well, a couple of things, Dan, globally. You've got to remember that looking ahead, you're hoping that the world will have less emphasis on monetary policy, more focus on industrial policy and fiscal policy in countries looking to shore up and secure their supply chains, obviously their economic security, and also embrace all the climate change infrastructure that needs to be made. Now, selecting your strategic sectors like batteries and semiconductors and tech, if you have the soft landing, it's obviously a very good positive because you can have the government capex going into those strategic sectors. If you have a harder landing, then it's obviously going to be difficult for those sectors to receive so much government capex or government-backed capex, because you've got to consider that the fiscal finances of many of the world's advanced economies at the moment are pretty full. There's not much leeway, and of course you have the recurrent expenditures. So that's what's happening globally. But regionally, what's really interesting is across Southeast Asia, when you're looking at Indonesia securing its 5.1% growth, you've got Philippines growing at 6.3% now, Vietnam 6.9%, Thailand's now above 2%, 2.3%. Malaysia as well was 6.9%, I think, for the second quarter. So you've got all this growth ahead of the actual loosening of financial conditions in the US. So you've had the currency appreciation of ASEAN currencies since the end of June, and basically all this great growth that we've seen is setting us really sort of good stage for the year end for this particular region.
Really interesting, Geoff. And just before I let you go, a number of big headline risk events for markets next week. Of course, We're also coming into this really important BOJ meeting, just to name one. Do you think they're going to signal some kind of move in the latter part of the year, maybe a December hike? Is that on your radar? And also, anything else that we should be watching in the trading day or the week ahead that's on your radar?
Yeah, definitely. So for the Bank of Japan, it's all going to be about signalling, right, Dan? After July 31st, the language, I'm sure, will be clear, as it has been over the last few weeks, that they will be looking to signal some type of hike before, obviously the end of the year. Consumer data is great and so forth. The data is coming in well, but the issue is, of course, that volatility we saw by global markets in reaction. For Singapore itself, the market has been pretty strong when you look at net institutional inflows. We have basically in the first 8 months of the year, we had 1.3 billion of net institutional outflow into Singapore stocks, but we've seen over the last 10 sessions, 2/3 of that outflow being reversed by institutions into our market. And that's one reason we are basically, over the last 10 sessions or so,